Deep in the vast wilderness of the Serengeti Game Reserve, nestled in the heart of Tanzania, there's an old man, known to all as Mr. Macan. Once a fearless ranger, he's devoted more than 5 decades of his life, from the bright-eyed days of his youth to the quiet strength of his old age, to this land, to its animals, and to its soul. For over 50 years, can you believe that? He dedicated every single breath to shielding the wild, standing strong against the darkness of illegal hunting. The locals? They don't just respect him, they revere him. They call him a living legend, a true guardian of the Serengeti, admired for his unshakable perseverance, his unmatched wisdom, and most of all, his tender heart. Even after hanging up his ranger uniform, he didn't sit still. Nope. Retirement never stopped him. Not even close. He still volunteers daily, driving that old, rattling car of his down bumpy trails, just to make sure everything is all right. Can you imagine that kind of devotion? The young staff? Oh, they love him. They constantly seek his advice, soaking up his deep, almost spiritual understanding of the land. To him, every creature is family: the elephants, the lions, the zebras, the giraffes, the rhinos, all of them. But you know what touched people most? He had a soft spot for the older animals, the ones resting in the safe zones. He always made sure their final days were filled with peace and care. Even with his health slowly fading, he never let age, or pain, or exhaustion stop him. Never. Lately, though, the Serengeti has been facing harsh, punishing heat, temperatures soaring up to 45 degrees Celsius.
Brutal, right?
That morning, the sun blazed across the reserve like a burning torch in the sky. The heat was unbearable. Animals hid beneath thick, shady trees, searching for relief. But Mr. Macan? He had a mission. He refused to stay back. He had to go check on a wounded rhino from the day before. So, with resolve in his heart, he drove out into the golden grasslands, into the fire of the day, toward the thick bushes where the injured rhino lay. The car rumbled slowly over cracked, dry earth. The sweltering air poured into the cabin like steam. Sweat drenched him, yet he pressed forward, undeterred. When he arrived, he quietly stopped the car, stepped out, and carefully observed the rhino from afar. It was still weak, its deep wounds still raw and unhealed. McCann's eyes glistened with concern, not just worry, but love for the giant, fragile soul before him. But then something went wrong. A sudden, stabbing pain gripped his chest. It was sharp, intense. His vision blurred, his body swayed. He tried to stay upright, but his knees buckled, and he collapsed into the tall grass, sweat pouring, skin pale, breath shallow. Nearby, his colleagues, Elijah and Musa, were caring for the zebras when they heard a faint, desperate cry. They sprinted toward the sound, hearts pounding, and found Mr. Macan on the ground. Elijah dropped beside him, urgently checking his pulse. It was wild, erratic, like a storm inside his chest. Musa scrambled through his pockets, searching for his heart medication, but it wasn't there. Oh no. Maybe, just maybe, in his hurry to check on the rhino, he'd forgotten to bring it. Time was critical. Elijah grabbed the radio and called the reserve center. "We need an ambulance. Now." Everyone nearby dropped what they were doing. No hesitation. All hands joined to get the vehicle through the reserve, fast. Mr. Macan was rushed to the medical wing, Elijah riding beside him, calling his name over and over. "Stay with us. Please." But McCann's old eyes slowly closed, his breath, faint and broken. At the clinic, doctors leapt into action. They tried everything: CPR, defibrillators, oxygen. Tension blanketed the room. Minutes felt like hours. But then a doctor finally stepped back, eyes solemn. "He's gone," he whispered. His heart stopped long ago. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. Words spread like wildfire. The staff gathered, stunned, eyes red with grief. They had lost their heart, their pillar, their hero. His family was notified, tears falling as the message was passed along. In accordance with Mr. McCann's wishes, the funeral would be held right there, in the reserve, the very land he gave his life to protect. Preparations began quickly. By sunrise, the entire team gathered in the central courtyard. A simple wooden bed was placed beneath the open sky. There, Mr. Machen lay in peace. His face was calm, as if merely asleep. One by one, people came to say goodbye. Elijah stood beside him, his hand trembling as he touched his old friend's hand. Memories flooded his mind. Musa lit incense, murmuring a quiet prayer. And then, something incredible happened. A deep roar echoed through the sanctuary's gate. Everyone froze, eyes wide. A large, male lion, majestic, powerful, walked slowly into the courtyard. Panic rippled through the crowd. People looked for cover, unsure if danger was near. But the lion didn't charge. No, it walked with grace, with intention. It approached the wooden bed and stopped. Then, bowed its head. The silence was chilling. The moment? Sacred. This wild king of the land had come to pay its respects. Elijah stared, stunned. Then he saw it, a scar on the lion's side. It all came rushing back. This was the very lion they had saved 15 years ago, when hunters had trapped it. Elijah and Mr. Machen had freed it, nursed it back to health, and released it back into the wild. Had it been watching from the shadows all these years? Had it returned now, just to say goodbye? The lion stood quietly. No growling, no aggression, just grief, just love. Elijah slowly stepped forward, calming it. Others joined, standing around the lion, united in awe and sadness. That moment, that lion, it erased fear and replaced it with something beautiful, a shared mourning. After the ceremony, they carried Mr. McCann's body to a grassy hill under a large shade tree, his favorite spot. The lion followed, every step filled with sorrow. When the grave was ready, they gently placed him inside, whispering their final goodbyes. Elijah and Musa placed a carved stone at the head of the grave. His name, his legacy, 50 years of devotion, etched into history. Locals held a ritual ceremony, praying for his soul to be at peace. The lion stayed by the grave, still, unmoving, its eyes never leaving the spot. Then, suddenly, it let out one long, heart-wrenching roar, a sound that echoed through the vast fields, full of sorrow, full of love. Eventually, everyone left, except the lion. It remained. The next day, the reserve stopped all activity to honor him. Flowers, incense, prayers. The grave became sacred ground. And from time to time, the lion would return, sitting quietly remembering. For Mr. Machen had given it life. And now, in return, it gave him something just as powerful, eternal remembrance. Elijah and Musa often visited, sharing stories and carrying forward the dream, protecting the wild, just as Machen did. His story, his spirit, it'll live forever in the Serengeti's heart. And the lion? It remains a symbol of gratitude, of loyalty, of a love that death couldn't silence. Dear friends, thank you, truly, for staying with us through this incredible story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves nature, too. We'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye for now. Herb Lion Face.